Okay, so we're going to talk a little bit about leadership, how you can make it happen. We're going to talk about the 5 key things that you can do right now, starting today, to attract sharp, successful people. Are you guys ready? Ready to take action? I want to see some yes. I'm ready to do this. I love it. I love it. Okay, so let me do one thing so that this recording does it right. And then I'm Okay, let's roll. So, first of all, you have to understand that leadership is not about skill. It's about energy, it's about attitude, it's about conviction and character. Okay, so you're going to have to learn some skills, right? But people naturally gravitate to somebody that has high energy, somebody that has, passion and a work ethic. But really they gravitate to their same energy, their same work ethic. So, I will tell you, when I first got in this industry many, many years ago, my first 4 months, I built it on convenience. And I always talk about how, I treated it like a hobby. And how many of us have ever made really great money with our hobbies, right? I didn't make any money. And that's because I was building it all on convenience. And my first 4 months, I remember being frustrated, thinking, why is my team not out there making things happen? Why are they not as excited as me? But what I realized is I was excited, but I wasn't doing anything. Okay. I wasn't like taking the action that I needed to take. I wasn't being bold. I wasn't being strong. I wasn't painting real big vision. Um, and I was attracting to me exactly the energy that I was putting out there. And it wasn't until I got serious and I said, you know what? No longer am I going to be this lame leader, okay? Because the speed of the team is always the speed of the leader. No longer am I going to show up hesitant or build this on convenience, but instead, I'm going to make changes. I am going to decide to show up boldly, show up confidently, even though I'm scared, even though it's inconvenient. I am going to stick to a daily method of operation, and I'm going to start being the person that I want to attract. So, on your piece of paper, if you're taking notes, I want you to write down, be the person you want to attract. What kind of person do you want to attract to you? Because the law of magnetism is so real in leadership. Okay, so who do you want to attract? What kind of character do you want them to have? What kind of skills do you want them to have? What kind of, you know, passion do you want them to have? And work ethic do you want them to have? Okay. So for me, I started being the person that I wanted to attract. I realized that if I want to be a top branch, a top executive, a top leader in network marketing, an executive blue diamond, right? I got to walk like a blue diamond. I got to talk like a blue diamond, and I got to show up like a blue diamond does. And back then, I was even afraid to present. Now, I was doing a little bit of presentations, but I was just doing it kind of here and there. And I was not a closer, okay? Or I didn't say I was a closer. That's a better way to say it, okay? I actually, every single one of you, you're closers, okay? But I was not showing up like a closer. And in my mindset, I was telling myself that I really didn't know how to close, or I didn't know how to do these certain things. And so until I learned how to do these certain things, I wasn't going to show up like that leader. Until I finally just said, you know what, Mindy, I give you permission to be a leader. I give you permission to show up like a top producer every single day. I give you permission to be the person you want to attract. And when I made that one decision, it was a committed decision. You guys have heard me a million times say it's not about your ability, it's about your commitment, right? But when I made that committed decision to do what it takes and just start showing up like that leader, even though I was scared and shy and wasn't that person, but I sometimes you just have to fake it until you make it. You have to be that person until you start stepping into that. Here's what happened, you guys. My entire team changed. And I started attracting sharp, successful people to my organization. In fact, so before I wasn't showing up as the leader and I wasn't being the person I wanted to attract, it took me, like, there were several people that were top producers on my list or even in my team, but they weren't showing up that way. They weren't signing up. They weren't showing up that way. One of them was Miss Jennifer Dowd. She was my best friend since 13 years old. She was somebody that I had on my list that was sitting on the fence that I was reaching out to every single week, but not closing the deal, not bringing her in until I made this committed decision to start being the person I wanted to attract. And once I made that decision, guess what? I closed Jennifer. She came into the business. We went from no momentum to massive momentum. 12 people on our team after 4 months of me dragging them along and me begging them to come to events, you know what I'm saying? You guys get what I'm saying. To within 60 days, we had over 300 people join our organization with massive momentum, with rising to the top of the company, and we built a multi-million-dollar business. But my first 4 months, I made excuses for myself, or I showed up as the person I thought I was rather than who I wanted to attract. Does this make sense? I was showing up as that shy, timid, I'm an introvert. I don't know if I can do this. All of these other, comparing myself to everybody else. All of these other people are doing way incredible things, and look at me. And it wasn't until I just said, screw it. I don't care what all these people are doing. I'm going to go make some big things happen. I'm going to be the person I want to attract. I'm going to start showing up as a top producer, and I'm going to walk like a top producer. I'm going to talk like a top producer, and I'm going to do the things that top producers do. And my business exploded. Okay, so how many of you, in fact, I want you to drop a one in the chat if you are committed to being the person you want to attract. If you're committed to showing up strong, confident, right? People follow strength, not weakness. I love it. I love it. I love it. I see all these ones. Okay, so first we got to evaluate ourselves. Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think about how you're showing up today. Would you want to be led by you? Right? Are you being that strong, confident leader? Are you reaching out? Are you painting vision? Are you presenting? Are you saying to people, listen, you put the people in front of me, I'm going to sign them up? Or are you making excuses saying, well, I don't know how to present yet. So maybe we better call, our leader and have them do that presentation, right? Are you showing up like a leader on social media, right? Are you showing up adding value? Okay, so would you want to be led by you? That's a really great question to ask yourself. Secondly, are you embodying the traits of the leaders that you want to attract? So are you embodying passion, excitement, conviction, strength? Are you being bold? Are you, showing up like that leader? Are you walking into a room with confidence? Are you jumping on a Zoom with confidence? Are you asking bold questions to your brand new prospects? Do you see what I'm saying? Or are you being a little hesitant? Okay. And then a third question I want to ask yourself is, what kind of people are you currently attracting? And what does that say about you? Okay, so because the speed of the team is the speed of the leader, and that your team is going to do exactly what you do, and usually half of what you do. Okay, so if you want people to just go out and make big things happen, then you've got to be making big things happen. I'll never forget.
I'm sure she'll be right back. Welcome to technical difficulties, right?
Okay, I'm
There
here.
she is.
I don't know what happened.
You
Oh,
froze and then we lost you.
oh my goodness. I'm sorry. Okay, you guys can see me okay and hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, so what did I end with, Rania?
What kind of people am I attracting? The third question we want to ask.
Okay, yep. So what kind of people are you attracting? Okay, so I'll never forget, okay, a time when I was really frustrated when we first started in the industry. Okay, I felt like I was dragging my team along. How many of you have some dead legs, or you feel like you're just kind of dragging people along? Well, for me, I felt like that for my first 4 months majorly. And I'll never forget hearing something like this at a leadership event where they said, look, you attract to you who you are. So if you're frustrated with the team that you have, it's because they're being exactly who you are. They're showing up just like you. They're being the person that you are. And so if you want to attract sharp people, then you've got to show up that way. You've got to show up, doing the things that you want your team to do. And so anyway, I remember thinking pretty seriously about that because I really thought I was building, you guys. I really thought I was doing the things that I was supposed to be doing. Like I was showing up on all trainings like this, you know. I was taking tons of notes. I had my whole list organized. I had things just really cranking, right? But I wasn't doing the things that actually were the things that were going to make me money. I wasn't stepping out of my comfort zone. I was totally building it on convenience. And I remember thinking, gosh, every week when we have our events, I'm calling my team and I'm saying, look, let's get some people in front of this. You get some people in front of this, but I wasn't getting the people in front of this. I wasn't the one that was doing the things, right? I was telling my team to do it, but I wasn't doing it. And that's when I realized, man, my team's only going to do half of what I'm doing. And so if I want to have people getting people on these overviews, if I want to have people doing the things that I'm telling them to do, I got to be doing that. And I've got to do 10 times more than what I'm telling or than what I think my team's going to do. And that was one of the things that shifted in my business when I realized that one little thing. When I started showing up confidently with strength, my team started showing up confidently with strength. When I started getting people on the overviews, my team started getting people on the overviews. And again, like I said, we went from no momentum to massive momentum. And so how do you show up confidently and just be that person? So I'm going to tell you my story that many of you have heard, but I'm going to say it to the ones that haven't heard it, okay? Because it really is important. And if you haven't done this yet, and even though you've heard me say it, like this is the time to do it because it literally changed my life. I love the law of magnetism because I truly 100% know. I don't just believe it, I just know it because it's worked in my life so many different times that we get what we want or what we think about. We get what we think about. Okay. We don't get what we want. We get what we think about. We don't get what we want, but we get how we're showing up, how we're being, the things we're thinking about. Okay. And so many years ago, I did not, and this was before I got in this industry. We actually got into traditional franchising. I wasn't a business person at that, or I didn't think of myself as a business person at that time. I was a preschool teacher. I was very introverted. I was very shy. I did not think I was a closer. I did not think that I was good at sales. But all of a sudden, I was put in this position where I had to sell truck bed liners. I didn't know anything about trucks, didn't know anything about truck bed liners, didn't like trucks. They were too big for me. Okay. I drove a Honda well, actually, I drove a Chevy Corsica at that time. Okay. I did not think of myself as a sharp business person, okay? But I got all of a sudden put in this position where I had to run a truck bed lining company. And I had to show up to dealerships every single day and sell truck bed liners to people that scared the crap out of me because I worked with 3 to 5 year olds. And all of a sudden, I was walking into a room of a bunch of guys who, were salespeople at these dealerships or owners of these dealerships, and I had to get them to buy truck bed liners from us, get them to, get their clients to buy truck bed liners from us. Anyway, long story short, I was scared to death, and I remember feeling like I had a huge weight on my shoulder and a problem because we had just put a second mortgage on our home, okay, to get into this company. Um, and all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, if I don't do something big and do it now, we're going to lose everything. How many of you have ever felt like that? You felt like you had the bear on your butt. Like if you don't make it happen. Okay, so the best thing you can do when the bear's on your butt is run. Okay, just start making things happen. Like just do it. And I promise you, when you start running and you start showing up strong, bold, confident, doing whatever it takes, things are going to change for you. But anyway, for me, the first thing I thought about, and this was the grand opening day of when we opened up this truck bed lining company, I was scared to death. The first thing I thought about was something that a mentor had told me many, many years ago. He said, listen, when you have a problem, I had a huge problem. Okay. He said, when you have a problem, you can overcome any challenge that you have. But what you have to do is you yourself personally have to outgrow that problem. You got to grow, you got to change, you got to be willing to do the things you've never done before. And you got to step out of your comfort zone and you got to make it happen. And so I thought, okay, how am I going to start growing? How am I going to start winning? What am I going to do? And I got the Magic of Thinking Big book out again. If you haven't read the book, you got to read the book. Okay. It's a classic. For me at 19 years old, it got me thinking big. Now, sometimes you read a book and you don't always implement everything that you read in a book, right? I don't recommend that because at 19 years old, if I would have done what I finally did later on in my life at 32 years old, I believe my life would look different today. Okay. But finally at 32, I did it. It's never too late to change. It's never too late to grow and do something different. But at 32 years old, I got that book back out and I read that book again. And in that book, the most important thing that I got out of that book that I started implementing is it said, you basically, you get what you think about. Okay. You attract to you who you are. You attract to you what you are thinking about. So if you are constantly thinking about debt, then guess what? You're going to continue to get debt. If you're constantly thinking about your problems, guess what? You're going to continue to get more problems. But if you start thinking about the things that you truly want in your life, you are going to start attracting those things to you. That's what I got out of this book. And in that book, it said, write a little commercial or statement about who you want to become and what you want to have in your life. And you guys, now at that time, I did not even know what $1 million a year meant. Okay. I was driving a 1988 Chevy Corsica with 1 million miles on it, with no air conditioning. I was not a sharp, successful business person, or I didn't think of myself as that. I thought of myself as a preschool teacher that worked with 3 to 5 year olds. I was introverted. I didn't really feel confident socially, like going out and just like making friends and connecting with people. It just wasn't me. Okay. But in this book, it said, decide who you want to be, decide what you want your life to be, and then just go be it. And if you just go be it, then you'll just start attracting the right things to you to become it. And I believed that. I'm so grateful I believed it, that at 32 years old, I made a statement for myself. And my statement was strong. It said, I am Mindy Deeble, a sharp, successful business person. I attract sharp, successful people to me. I get what I want. I talk to people everywhere I go. I love people. Guys, that was not me. I had to say those words to start being that person. Um, you know, I make $100,000 a month. I didn't even know what $100,000 a month even was, but I thought it would be really cool to do that. I thought, man, if I could make, over $1 million a year, that would be amazing. So I just started saying it. I make $100,000 a month. I drive a black, shiny Porsche because that was my dream car at that time. Okay. At that time, I was driving a 1988 Chevy Corsica, like I said. I own a cabin on the lake. We have wave runners, snowmobiles, boats. All of these things were so out there for me. If somebody would have heard me saying these things, they would have laughed. They would have thought, that's not who you are. You're not bold, confident, sharp. You're not showing up that way. But I knew that I had to be that person if I wanted the things that I wanted in my life. I knew I had to show up that way. And so I made this bold statement. And you guys, before I would walk into these dealerships, I would say this statement and I would say, Mindy Deeble, nothing can stop you. Nothing. You look good. You feel good. You are enthusiastic and you are persistent. And failure can't cope with persistence. You have what it takes. You are a multimillionaire. Go forward. Just do it. I would slam my Chevy Corsica door. I would walk into those dealerships and I would close everybody in the room. And we started growing this dealership because of this statement, because of me just picturing myself driving a black shiny Porsche, me picturing myself walking into these dealerships and closing the room, me picturing myself having this lifestyle that was so out there for me, but I just started being that person. And here's what happened because of that statement. I always say, once you make a committed decision to do something, the universe is always going to respond. The people will come to you, the ideas will come to you, the resources will come to you, the opportunities will come to you for you to create that definite decision or committed decision that you made. See, for me, here's what happened. Somebody walked into, I was begging for somebody to buy that dealership. And one day, a year and a half later, after me doing this, okay, somebody walked into this dealership and said, can I buy this company? And I said, thank you. Yes, please take it. Because and we sold it for half of what we put into it. Okay. So that's a whole nother story, but I was so relieved to just get rid of it. Okay. Now, that I know that person came into my life to buy that because I made a committed decision that this is who I was. This is what I was going to create. And that dealership and where we were in our life could not make what I had in my statement happen. Does that make sense? And then here's what happened. Because I continued to focus on that statement, I actually went back to preschool. So after we sold it, I went back to being a preschool teacher, but I kept that statement in front of me. Now, being a preschool teacher was not going to give me that life, but I had those dreams. I had those goals. I had this vision of who I was being, what I was creating. And then network marketing came into my life. And it came into my life because that is what could create what I put in that statement. And here's what happened for me. My first 4 months of coming into network marketing, I had all this baggage of, oh man, I was a failure with that last company. We lost half of what we put into it. I've done this before. I didn't make any money. I was thinking about all of my failures and I wasn't showing up as the person that I had in that statement. And I wasn't focused on that statement for 4 months because I was focused on all of my past, okay, all of my failures, all of these things. And it wasn't until I realized, oh my gosh, Mindy, you're not being the person who you put in the statement. Could you possibly have got into this industry because everything you want in that statement can come to fruition. And when I realized, oh my gosh, I have an opportunity to do everything that I put in this statement to build a multi-million dollar business, but I got to start being that person again. I got to show up as that person in the statement. I got to focus on this. And once you make a clear, definite decision that this is who you are, this is what you're creating, and I had the opportunity now in my hands, you guys, in 60 days, we went from zero to massive momentum and built a multi-million dollar business within 9 months because I was committed to what I put in that statement. Within 5 years of when I made that statement, we created everything in that statement. And it's because of a clear vision and showing up as the person you want to attract. Okay, so I went through a lot, but I wanted to say that because it's so important for you taking your life to another level. You got to know who you are. You got to be the person you want to attract, and you've got to be focused and have a clear vision of what you are creating. Because people follow strength, they don't follow weakness. People follow people who have energy and conviction and know exactly what they're creating. They follow that person. Okay. So, if you want to attract sharp, successful people, you must level up yourself, right? You've got to level up your stuff personally. So how do you do that? Invest in personal development, right? Get around people that you that fire you up, that get you excited, that give you strength, and that you can learn from, and start showing up as that person. Like, watch the things that they're doing all the time. Who are some people that you are getting around every single day? Now, in the beginning, how I got around successful, sharp people is I got in my car and I listened to them, right? I listened to John C. Maxwell. I listened to all the successful people that I possibly could. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. There are so many amazing books that you want to listen to, you want to grow from. A mentor told me many years ago, 15 minutes a day of personal growth or personal development can take all of your financial troubles away. And I truly believed that and believe that still today. Okay. You always have an opportunity to win. It doesn't matter what your circumstances are today. They don't define what you can go create. You are exactly on, the income level and everything based on the 5 people you hang out with the most. So if you hang out with 5 idiots, guess what? You're going to be the 6th. Okay. But if you hang out with 5 champions, guess what? You're going to be the 6th. And I realized if you hang out with 5 broke people, you'll be the 6th. If you hang out with 5 millionaires, you're going to be the 6th, right? So it doesn't mean that you just ditch all of your friends and everybody, but what it means is that you want to start hanging out with people that are going to take you to another level. You want to start hanging out and listening to and growing from and learning from sharp, successful people. Okay, so let's see. Be the person you want to recruit. Let me look at my notes here really quick, okay? So I think I went through all of that. Okay. So success leaves clues. Model the best. Study and emulate high-level leaders. So think about some people that you really respect that have done big things in the business world and start getting around them. Like, and at first, if it's just getting around them, like on events like this, okay. Like, I highly recommend, if you want to be a top producing blue diamond, then get on the Monday and Wednesday calls. Okay. Get on, if you want, get on the Race to Provo that we have going on Monday nights. You have all the top leaders in Trinot that are leading you, that are, taking you to another level. But also, like, some mentors that I resonate with, okay, that have really helped me grow. One is John C. Maxwell, listening to him every single day. And then eventually we got on his advisory board. But at first he was just, somebody that I listened to all the time. Elena and Grant Cardone, at first they were just somebody that I listened to all the time. And then I started going to their events and hanging out with them and building a relationship with them. But in the beginning, like, who are you listening to? How are they showing up every single day? Start showing up on social media just like they are showing up, doing the things that they do. What makes them magnetic? Their confidence, their clarity, their energy, their certainty, their vision. Okay. How are they painting vision? All of these leaders that you want to emulate, how are they doing the things they're doing? Okay. So here's a powerful question to ask yourself. If you attracted 5 people exactly like you today, would your business grow or would it struggle? If it would struggle, then reevaluate how you're showing up, okay? Reevaluate your daily method of operations. Evaluate like all of the different things, right? And if you're showing up every single day strong, then you're growing and winning. Keep doing what you're doing, right? That's the most important thing. So do a personal audit and really look at that. Okay, now let's just go right to, because we are out of time. Let's talk about the 5 ways to attract high-level successful people to your organization. Well, I went through a lot of key tips. The big thing is being the person you want to attract, right? But level up your own leadership and energy. So high level leaders, effective leaders, they don't follow weak energy or inconsistency, right? They know exactly where they're going. They're strong. They're confident. They have discipline. How do you gain confidence, by the way? You gain confidence by doing the things you say you're going to do. Just start doing the things you say you're going to do. Be disciplined to do those things, and you're going to gain so much confidence just you being that person. Stay committed to personal growth every single day. And then I say, don't just read the book or listen to the book. Read it, listen to it several times. By the way, when you read something, you learn differently than when you listen to it. So sometimes read it, sometimes listen to it. But then what I like to do is I like to highlight the things that really resonated with me, maybe some things that I want to work on. And then every single day implement, like, think about, okay, what's the one thing I learned from this 15-minute growth session? And what am I going to implement today? Another thing, train it every single day. You can do that on social media. You can do that through your stories. You can do that, lives or through your posts. But every single day, implement what you learned and train what you learned. That is going to be more significant to you. So the action to level up your leadership, I recommend, is affirmations, visualization, okay, having that statement in front of you, and just personal growth, okay? That's the action that you're going to take on that first point to level up your own leadership and energy. Okay, then the second thing is communicate a strong vision with focus. This is really, really important because people follow vision and strength. They're not following weakness. They want to be with somebody who knows where they're going, right? They want to, people, it's hard to get someplace if you yourself don't know where you're going, right? And so nobody else is going to follow somebody that is hesitant, is not painting vision, is not saying, hey, we can do this. Let me show you how this is going to happen. I'll never forget when I first realized that I was painting vision in network marketing. I got the Dow started, and I remember I was like, okay, we are going to go do some big, huge things. And I knew, because I've known them since high school. I knew that Darren wanted to fly someday. I knew that He wanted to get out of his job, be home, and Jennifer wanted him home because they were traveling all over the place. And so I remember saying, look, guys, there is no reason why Darren can't be home, why Darren can't get this jet. We're going to create jet money. We're going to do massive things. I'm doing this with or without you. My mission is to make $100,000 a month. You want to be a part of that? Do you want to do that too? And I was painting vision, and I didn't even know that I was. But then I realized it's because I'm excited. I have that conviction. So it first has to start with you. Do you have big goals? Are you paving the way with your big goals? Because when you have big goals, people want to be a part of that. They're like, well, if you're going to do that, I want to do that too. Show me how to do that, right? So you got to have those goals in front of you. I'll never forget Jennifer saying, because I had a notebook that I carried around everywhere. I had my statement, right? And I had a notebook that said I make $100,000 a month. And I remember her looking at that going, you're going to make $100,000 a month? And I'm like, heck yeah, and more. Like, do you want to do that with me? And she's like, well, yeah, let's do that. And I said, let's go. We're making it happen, right? You got to have a clear vision of what you're creating. So, leaders, okay, with strength, communicate a strong vision of what they're doing. They have focus. So if you're trying to figure that out, come up with your 1 minute elevator pitch. What is that? What is it that you are creating? What is it that you are doing? Like when I talk to people, one of my elevator pitches, you've probably heard me say it a million times. Look, if you want to be at the right place at the right time with a company that has an incredible niche, and timing's huge, this truly is it. We're building $1 billion company, which means many millionaires will be created. Do you want to be a part of that or not? Let's go. Like, what's your 1 minute elevator pitch? What are you excited about? What do you believe? What are you creating? Okay, that's the second thing you've got to do to start attracting people to you. Okay, the third thing is upgrade your brand and your social presence. Like, how are you showing up? How are you showing up every single day on social media? What does your social media profile look like? Is it a clear picture of you that you know where you're going? Look at your past 10 posts. Are they adding value? Okay. Your income is a direct reflection of the value you're giving to the marketplace. So, what kind of value are you adding to other people? Is it all about your dogs and your cat and your kids, or is it about, helping people take it to the next level? One thing that really helped me with social media when I was, you know, with some influencers and they were teaching me about social media, they said, listen, what 3 things can you add value to the marketplace? What are 3 strengths that you have, or three things that you just know you can add value? So, what are those 3 things that you can add value to people's lives? For me, one of them is I have overcome a lot. Like I just know that it doesn't matter what your circumstances are today. It doesn't define what you can go create. And so I love to inspire people to take their life to another level, to believe that they can do it. And so one thing that I can instill into the marketplace is belief and inspire people to win, right? What are some things that you can do? What are 3 things that can add value? Okay. Number 4, network and surround yourself with high achievers. If you want to take your business to another level, if you want to attract sharp, successful people, you got to get around high achievers. And one of the ways to do that is come to the events, right? Getting on a call like this, but then also going to events. Like we have a national event in Provo, Utah in March. You got to come to the event and bring as many people as you can with you. That is going to level up your leadership. For me, like when I tell you that we went from struggling to then massive momentum, I'll never forget being on a call like this. And a leader said, look, you can make money in network marketing, but if you want to make big money, if you want to build a multi-million-dollar business, if you want to do big things in network marketing, You can't do that until you come to this event. You can't do that until you get around sharp people and you see the vision and you do that. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of treating this like a hobby because I was thinking about not going to that event. It was in Fort Worth, Texas. I live in Boise, Idaho. It was going to be a major flight that I didn't have the money to pay for. I was going to have to, you know, miss time of work. My husband was going to have to miss some jobs that he had to do, and that took us out of commission financially, right? We didn't know how we were going to do it. But I knew if I didn't do something different, I was always going to have the same results. We were struggling. Every month, I was trying to figure out how we were going to pay our house payment. I was trying to figure out all of these things, and I decided I gotta make changes. We got to do something different. And so we committed to going to this event in Fort Worth, Texas, and not just going to the event, but bringing 6 people with us, 2 people in 3 separate legs. You guys, because of that event, it wasn't just us that got the conviction and the vision and the training and the tools to go out and make it happen, but we had 6 other people that also got that same conviction, training, and tools. And we left that event going from no momentum, 12 people on our team, to in 60 days brought in over 300 people. So the reason why this is on this list of attracting sharp, successful people is because you got to get around sharp, successful people, right? You got to get around the people who are painting vision, who are making this happen. Come to the event. It will change your life. It'll be absolutely huge. It'll be a game changer for you and your team. Get as many people as you can there. Okay. And then last but not least is lead by example. Okay. Lead by example, meaning if you want people to be getting people on the overviews, okay, in your team, then you got to be the one doing that, right? And deliver value first, okay? People follow action takers. They don't follow talkers. They follow action takers. People follow people who are helping other people win and who are adding value to people. So you yourself, okay, be taking more action than you ever have before, and your team will do half of what you do. Okay. I'm just telling you that. Okay. So if you want your team to be connecting with and reaching out to 5 people a day, then you got to reach out to 10 people a day. Does that make sense? And you're going to start attracting the right people to start doing the things you want them to do. And then always be sharing testimonials. People follow strength, not weakness. People follow emotion, not facts. Okay. So, make sure that you're sharing testimonials every single day, and sharing the things that are happening, the exciting things that are happening and the stories. Be creating more success stories so that you can start attracting more people to you. So those are the 5 things. You guys, there is no reason why each and every one of you truly can't create whatever you want. I know that because I know where I've been. And I know if I can do this, each and every one of you can do it. You have the power. There is no reason why 2025 truly can't be your best financial year ever. And if it hasn't started exactly how you wanted, that doesn't matter. It can end exactly how you wanted. Okay. Today's a new day. It's a blank canvas. You have the power to make one decision to change your life. So today, just win today, and then every day win the day. And I promise you, if you just focus on today, what can I do today to take my life to the next level? How can I step out of my comfort zone? What can I do? If you just focus on that, I promise you can change your life in 1 year. Like you truly can do some major things this year, but you just got to be consistent and show up like a champion that you are. Okay. You already are. Just keep showing up that way. And I promise you can do awesome things. So thank you so much for joining me today. Let's go kick some butt, and I will see all of you at all of our events we have going on. I will put this recording in Power Players because I've had several people ask for it, so I'll make sure it's in Power Players this morning in the featured section. Okay, you guys have a great day. Bye, everybody. Thanks again. Bye. And Lisa, thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much. Rania, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you bringing people in today. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Have a great day.
Okay, you too. Bye, everybody.